Now, with benefit of hindsight, is there something that you regret today about your presidency? Was that something that you did then that you probably would have done differently?
Me? What? I did everything that I should do the way I should do that.
But what about OD? The invasion of a village in OD where the whole village was wiped out.
Of course, if I have soldiers and police who are the instrument by which I should maintain security, and I sent police and they were killed, and I sent soldiers and they were killed, what do you expect me to do? If you were in my position, what will you do? You will fold your arms? You answer me, my dear brother.
Definitely not.
Okay.
What happened? They're not to the other side. But what
Odi is a small town in Bayelsa State with an estimation of 60,000 people as at 1999, located about 43 kilometers north of Yenagoa. In a brutal manner, the town experienced ferocious attack from the Nigerian army on 20th November 1999. It is estimated that over 2,400 civilians were killed in that attack. Let's go back to history and tell you what happened on that fateful day. On November 4, 1999, an armed gang killed 7 policemen in the community of Odi, Bayelsa State. Few days later, they killed 5 more policemen. President Olusegun Obasanjo at that time immediately wrote a letter to the governor of Bayelsa State, Diepreye Alamieyeseigha, giving him 2 weeks to fish out the members of the gang and arraign them in a criminal court. It is alleged that the gang that killed the policemen were used by the governor and his party, PDP, during the democratic election in February 1999 to commit illegalities, and Obasanjo already knew this. The problem was that Alamieyeseigha and the powers that be left them to run riots in various villages, towns, and communities in Bayelsa State. After the 2-week ultimatum, the governor couldn't seem to arrest a known criminal and a political thug who he used during his elections in February 1999. So Obasanjo sent the Minister of Police Affairs, Major General David Jemibonwe, retired, and Senate President, late Dr. Choba Okadimu, to speak to Governor Alamieyeseigha. He kept telling the same story, but as they pressed the governor harder, he gave up one name, Ken Niaga, aka Daddy Ken. Ken Niaga was said to be many things: a gang leader, a career militant, a highway robber, a renowned cultist, a kidnapper, a sea pirate on Nigerian waters. Some say Ken was part of the Supreme Ebesu, aka Ebesu Boys, and the Asawana Boys, both affiliated with the Ijaw Youth Council, IYC. Ken was also said to be the son of a police officer who chased away his father's wife and used his house as a command center for his criminal activities. For his role in election rigging, Ken Niaga was said to be compensated, but he got used and done. With the guns and reputation he had, he began his reign of terror on Yenagoa and other communities. Obasanjo knew all of this. Ken reign lasted from the election in February 1999 until September 1999, when a police area commander in Yenagoa, Mr. Thomas Jakotolo, CSP, led an operation to dislodge Ken and his gang from their command center and put an end to his reign of terror. Jokotola succeeded killing and arresting many of Ken's associates, especially in the black market area of Yenagoa. But as Ken gang escaped, they met soldiers at Harbour Road, Yenagoa, and killed all the soldiers. 2 months after that, on November 4th, 1999, CSP Thomas Jokotolo entered OD with 6 other policemen on a special operation. Ken and his gang ambushed CSP Jokotolo and his men. Their names are CSP Thomas Jokotolo, Osun State; DSP George Nwin, Rivers State; St. Emmanuel Bako, Bauchi State; CPA Ayuba Silas, Kaduna; PC Shaubu Zamani, Kaduna; CLP Elias Bitrus, Borno; CLP Robinson Obaze, Edo. And as earlier stated, Obasanjo stepped in and gave the governor 2 weeks to get things under control. 4 days later in Kayama, Bayelsa, on Monday, November 8, 1999, to be exact, 3 more policemen were killed by some people in Odi. Their names: Sergeant Ahaji Atabo, Kogi State, PC Stephen Abu, Cross Rivers, PC Umo Ubo, Cross River. After the 2 weeks given to the governor expired on 18th, Obasanjo swung into action. First, he declared a state of emergency in Bayelsa State. Then, drafted his Minister of Defense, General T.Y. Danjuma, to send in Lieutenant Colonel Abba Biaka and 300 soldiers to ODI under the command of Ecomog war hero and hyper-efficient killing machine, General Victor Malu. The instruction was simple: dislodge perpetrators of violence, restore law and order, and apprehend the suspected murderers. The mission was codenamed Operation Hakuri II. The Navy was also instructed to ensure no one escaped via the waterways, while the police had a task of containing civilians. In less than 48 hours, the most of ODI was leveled to the ground. Only a church, schools, hospitals, and a bank building survived the operation. Nothing which had life, man or animal, was breathing or moving. Everything else was rubble or dead flesh. What many will never reveal when they recount the ODI massacre is that Lieutenant Colonel Abba Biaka and his men were ambushed between Kayama and ODI before getting to their destination. 4 soldiers died. Lieutenant Colonel Abakaba called General Victor Malu to update him about the ambush and asked if he should call off the operation. Malu asked him if he had completed his objective. Ababiaka answered, "No, sir." Malu told him to proceed until the objective of the mission was achieved, and they went to brief President Olusegun Obasanjo. Ababiaka got to ODI and came under what he reported as heavy and sustained fire. The militants were shooting at the soldiers from built-up areas, inside houses and buildings. The militants were using civilians as human shield. Ababiaka came up with a tactical assault plan to destroy every building the militants fired from. Many RPGs, 381mm mortars, 2105mm howitzer and other high-caliber explosives were used to blow up every building. The militants retreated to the creeks. Unfortunately, the Navy did not perform as well as expected, and the police mobile forces were MIA. Again, Ken escaped. Below is an excerpt about the ODI massacre read from General Victor Malu's book, In the Name of Victor. Listen.
I have also believed and still believe that soldiers should not be involved in basic law enforcement duties. The army has neither the training nor the disposition for such assignments. Questions about the performance of the military at ODI should rightly be directed to those who ordered the army into ODI in the first place. The army did not gratuitously inject itself into ODI. We were asked to come in by the civilian authorities. It is not the job of a soldier to question the morality or rationale behind orders. In fact, it would have been a gross insubordination and a very serious violation of military code of justice if the army had failed to carry out the directives of the commander-in-chief. As a soldier, I was trained to obey the last command of my superiors, even if I had reservations about the correctness of such an order. Once the order was given, my job was to work out the technical details. The soldiers performed credibly under very dangerous and difficult circumstances. It is very unfair for people in the confines of their homes and behind newspaper desks to second-guess the actions of soldiers who were ambushed by armed thugs. Expecting detachment and restraint in the face of fire has never been part of military training. Self-defense is the first law of nature and an integral part of the military rules of engagement. There may be debates about whether self-defense had mutated into overkill, but that does not negate the underlying fundamental premise. Soldiers faced with organized and sustained fire have the right to defend themselves. Politicians with self-serving agendas conveniently ignore the true facts and pursue their hidden agenda with vigor. Journalists, in their bid to sensationalize the issue, either distorted the facts or downright told lies in their attempt to discredit the military. Any right-thinking and fair-minded person should have questioned the culpability of the civilians who opened fire on a military convoy. What did they expect? Did they believe that the army would just roll over and play dead?
Over 375 people were reportedly killed in the most widely condemned military action since the General Sani Abacha Pacific troops overran Ogoniland. Senate President Chobo Kadibo and Wole Soyinka call it high-handedness and a callous overkill. The force commander, Lieutenant Colonel Abubakar, explained away the massacre to Chobo Kadibo and his team of senators as a defensive action. Obasanjo called it the animalism of the military. 10 years later, Ken Niaga was finally arrested in 2009 when he allegedly attempted to kill the Bayelsa State Commissioner of Police, Hakuri II, in a shootout at a checkpoint on Tuesday night. Despite being LG coordinator of the Bayelsa Volunteers, a state security outfit under Governor Timi Presivia, and his subsequent suspension, the SSS has slated Ken down for arrest and prosecution for illegal possession of arms and gun running. The next day, Ken was led to his arms dump in ODI for evidence collection, where the police were ambushed by members of Ken gang and Ken was killed in a shootout. In 2013, Justice Lambo Akambi of the Federal High Court ordered the federal government to pay the victims of the ODI massacre 37.6 billion naira as a compensation. He gave a 3-week ultimatum. On May 26, 2014, President Goodluck Jonathan and the federal government negotiated an out-of-court settlement of 15 billion and paid the compensation. Thank you for watching. Please ensure you like, subscribe, drop your comment reaction in the comment box. If you know more about the ODI massacre, don't hesitate to enlighten us in the comment box. Also ensure you share this video so it can go viral. Thank you very much.